Competition breeds success. Your fiercest competitor often reveals your finest strengths. Rivals spark progress that solitude could never ignite. Overcoming competition means outlasting your doubts, not just your opponents. Every rivalry is an invitation to become better than yesterday. These are all quotes from Gordon Treadgold, but this is the story of how competition would breed another world record, this time not in the realm of coasters, but a water ride to complement one park's record-breaking coasters that would slither to the top of the mountain while it would drop guests over 7 stories, splashing down to a memorable experience.
After much preparation, Theodore Colasveri was the first human over Snake River Falls, the world's highest, fastest, wettest water ride. Are you ready? Get to the point, Cedar Point!
It's funny, as many of these documentaries often begin with one thing that made the impossible possible, breaking the barrier on all expectations. Many of the great modern marvels and even the problematic coasters in modern day that shaped the innovation from the late 1980s to what we experience now. That being the creation of Magnum XL 200 in 1989. With this creation of the first ever coaster to crack the 200-foot mark, would start what would become the Coaster Wars. Although other contenders would enter their hats in the ring of competition, the Coaster Wars would primarily exist between 2 theme park chains, 2 companies that would become rivals amongst the regional stratosphere of parks, in their race to who would build the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the world. After Cedar Fair, Cedar Point would build the tallest roller coaster in the world with Magnum XL 200 in 1989, manufactured by Aerodynamics. Beforehand, the tallest roller coaster in the world was Shockwave at Six Flags Great America, that opened a year prior in 1988, a year before the creation of Magnum XL 200 in 1989. With the mind-blowing feat of a coaster reaching the 200-foot mark, Six Flags would respond to this competition feud right back a year later in 1990, with another world's tallest in another coaster category, with Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas, making Texas Giant the tallest wooden roller coaster in the world, with a max height of 143 feet. Cedar Fair did not take kindly to this and wouldn't allow Six Flags to reign supreme in a major coaster category for long. A year later in 1991, Cedar Fair would debut Mean Streak at Cedar Point as a direct response to Six Flags Texas Giant. Mean Streak would take over the reign as the tallest wooden coaster in the world at a max height of 161 feet. As this coaster war would continue on back and forth for another 14 years, as Cedar Fair and Six Flags, along with some other park participants, would go on to create the tallest, fastest, longest coasters out there. What many people don't know is that, in the midst of the coaster wars, there were 2 other wars brewing in the amusement park industry. Cedar Point, known for their huge variety of diverse, high-thrilling, record-breaking coasters, sought under the guidance of Cedar Fair to broaden their attractions to appeal to non-coaster riders, essentially catering to more families and individuals who do not participate in riding tall, fast, thrilling coasters. As the peak of the season primarily takes place during the summer, while guests would experience a huge array of coasters, there was a lack of water rides to keep parkgoers cool during the blazing hot summers. Oh, and also don't let me forget to mention that this was also in response to a new initiative that Six Flags rolled out to beat the heat by adding a new focus on water rides to cool off guests during the summer while providing fun and thrills. On September 11, 1992, Cedar Point would announce that a new record-breaking attraction would come to the park in 1993. A water ride attraction that the park advertised would be taller and faster than the park's 78-foot PTC wooden coaster, Blue Streak, not to be confused with Mean Streak. Cedar Point, coming off of a couple of record-breaking coasters, and many being manufactured by Aerodynamics, including Magnum XL 200, to continue their good relationship with Aerodynamics, Cedar Fair would trust in Arrow to build their newest record-breaking water ride. The water ride of choice would be a Shoot-the-Chute ride. A Shoot-the-Chute ride is a water-based boat ride, often with roughly up to 20 passengers, that at some point goes up a conveyor belt or a chain lift hill, then down a big drop causing a huge tidal wave splash. Cedar Point would partner with Aerodynamics to create the tallest, steepest, and fastest Shoot-the-Chute ride in the world. Aerodynamics, with a history of manufacturing not only coasters, but water rides too, with Arrow creating the first modern log flume with the sawmill at Six Flags Over Texas in 1963. Therefore, with Arrow being pioneers, they would be up for the task and would not shy away from the challenge. You remember that I mentioned 2 other competitions were brewing in the midst of the Coaster War? Well, the second one was the aforementioned attempts between Six Flags and now Cedar Fair to bring in newer, taller, and wetter water rides to their parks to help beat the summer heat. And the third competition would be between manufacturers Aerodynamics and Hopkins Rides on who could build the most and the tallest and fastest Shoot-the-Chute water rides out there. Hopkins Rides, a company out of Palm City, Florida, manufactured the first modern Shoot-the-Chute ride in 1986 with 2 of the same model and name called Splashwater Falls at both Six Flags Over Georgia and Six Flags Great America, standing at 50 feet tall respectively. Hopkins Rides would continue to produce another Shoot-the-Chutes also called Splashwater Falls for Six Flags Great Adventure in 1987, along with Aquaman Splashdown at Six Flags Over Texas that same year. It wouldn't be until a year later that Aerodynamics would enter their own hat into the ring of manufacturing Shoot-the-Chute water rides. If you haven't figured it out yet, Arrow wasn't shy at doing things bigger than their competition. They would continue this trend with their first attempt at a Shoot-the-Chutes that they actually built in 1984 at the 1984 Louisiana World Expo, which technically makes Arrow the first manufacturer to design the modern Shoot-the-Chutes model that we experience still today. But the 1984 Shoot-the-Chute ride that was called Shoot-the-Chute and would come to Six Flags Astroworld in 1988 after sitting idle after the 1984 Louisiana World Exposition. After a few years of going back and forth between the 2 companies, with Hopkins Rides primarily building their Shoot-the-Chutes rides with a max height of 50 feet, while Arrow would be petty and build the majority of their Shoot-the-Chutes with a max height of 55 feet. In 1993, Aerodynamics would take it to new heights, with what Cedar Point announced a year prior in 1992, that they partnered with Arrow to build the tallest, steepest, and fastest Shoot-the-Chutes water ride in the world. And they would do just that. Introducing Snake River Falls. Snake River Falls would come to Cedar Point, be located in the Frontier Town section of the park, the same section that Mean Streak occupied, and stand at a record-breaking 82 feet high. Jim Colvin, Director of Maintenance and Construction at Cedar Point, stated that making it better is usually left exclusively to the ride manufacturers, but Cedar Point is unusual in that the park has in-house experts to help customize standard rides. In this case of Snake River Falls, all the manufacturers past Shoot-the-Chutes rides have been no more than 65 feet tall, continuing to state that we are in the habit of building world record breakers. If it's already been done, it's our duty to do it better. Snake River Falls was built to be themed after a woodpacking company called Snake River Wood Products Company that was in the business of making wood pulp, paper, wood veneers, and building lumber. Snake River Falls was constructed over the course of late 1992 on till spring 1993. After nearly half a year of constructing the ride, Snake River Falls, at a price tag of $3.5 million and sponsored by Pepsi, would be completed and ready to plunge nearly 8 stories down, soaking many riders to come.
Why just watch a waterfall when you can ride one? Snake River Falls, the world's highest, fastest, wettest water ride. Now at Cedar Point. Get to the point.
Oh wow, this is a new ride for 1993. This is Snake River Falls.
Snake River Falls would open to the public on May 8th, 1993. With huge reception, high anticipation, and extreme excitement for the latest and newest record-breaking attraction to open up at Cedar Point, guests would venture up the 2-minute and 20-second attraction over and over, splashing down soaked, full of laughter. Snake River Falls operates with an open-top flat-bottom boat ride vehicle that seats 20 riders. After riders load on into the boat, and as the boat hooks to a chain, the ride begins with the 43-second trek up its chain lift hill. Once it reaches its nearly 8-story high peak, it goes down a micro drop, picking up some speed, on into the trough full of water, where you experience a little splash that might get the front row riders wet. Once now in the water, the boat coasts left at a reasonable pace slowly as it continues on till it reaches the conveyor belt that carries the boat full of riders to a massive 82-foot 50-degree drop down to the water below, creating a massive 64 feet wide, 30-foot long tidal wave splash soaking guests off-ride that were standing on the footbridge awaiting to be completely drenched, which created a separate entertaining experience of its own. As far as the experience after riders experience the massive drop, the boat takes a slow, peaceful float in the water back to the station. After experiencing a figure-8 ride layout, riders just experience an 82-foot drop at a 50-degree angle, a max speed of 40 miles per hour down the drop, and a 2-minute and 20-second ride experience down into a massive splashdown completely soaking riders. Snake River Falls became an instant fan favorite amongst parkgoers, with many deeming Snake River Falls as the best non-coaster ride at the park. This Shoot-the-Chute would massively appeal to families from the actual ride experience getting drenched. Snake River Falls was a hit. On May 24, 1993, 16 days after the world record-breaking Snake River Falls would open to the public, and roughly a reported 46,000 people were reported to have ridden Snake River Falls in the first 16 days. On the 16th day, 5 riders were sent to the hospital that took a ride on the new attraction in the front row, due to injuring their knees from the high intensity of the huge 82-foot drop. According to First Aid records, a few other people were also checked out at First Aid for injuries experienced on this ride, with many of them having been seated in the front row. Cedar Point would open on Tuesday, May 25, 1993, with Snake River Falls closed in order for park maintenance to add additional padding to the ride, along with it being reported that crews adjusted the angle at which the boat hits the water. The ride would reopen later in the day though on May 25th, but would close yet again that evening for a short period of time to replace a wheel bolt. With Cedar Point's new world record breaker now open with Snake River Falls, both Cedar Fair and Arrow respectively now own the crown of the tallest and fastest Shoot-the-Chutes ride in the world. With this addition of an 82-foot Shoot-the-Chute ride, Aerodynamics actually now claim the top 5 spots for the tallest Shoot-the-Chutes rides, with Snake River Falls with the max height of 82 feet, new for 1993 Whitewater Landing at Dorney Park with the max height of 80 feet, new for 1993 as well with Rimrunner at indoor amusement park in Las Vegas called Adventure Dome, standing at a max height of 65 feet, and an honorable mention of 2 55-foot ones at Busch Gardens Tampa and Six Flags Astroworld. Remember that competition breeds success. Competition breeds more. It breeds betterment. Cedar Fair and essentially Aerodynamics as well would hold the title of having the tallest Shoot-the-Chutes ride in the world for only 1 year. Hopkins Rides would directly respond a year later in 1994 by beating Snake River Falls' max height of 82 feet with 2 new world record breakers the same year that would top one after another within Hopkins Rides lineup. In 1994, Kentucky Kingdom would open Mile High Falls, manufactured by Hopkins Rides, with a max height of 90 feet, 8 feet higher than Arrow's Snake River Falls. But Hopkins Rides wouldn't let up, just as Aerodynamics didn't show much mercy in 1993 by opening Snake River Falls, Rimrunner, and Whitewater Landing all in the same year. Hopkins Rides would take it to the extreme, with the max height finally reaching triple digits, with the $4 million Shoot-the-Chutes ride called Tidal Force at Hershey Park that stood at a massive max height of 100 feet. With that, Aerodynamics would officially tap out of the race, building their very last Shoot-the-Chutes ride in 1993, with Rimrunner at Adventure Dome being their very last one ever manufactured. And with no direct correlation, after years of a great relationship with Arrow, Snake River Falls would also be the last Aerodynamics ride to come to Cedar Point. Snake River Falls would continue on operating throughout the years, mainly continuing to please guests with splashing thrills, but this ride did continue to have its maintenance issues that range from minor to somewhat major, from riders finding themselves stuck in the trough where team members would have to assist in the water, to rather, unfortunately, another major incident. On Wednesday, July 3rd, 2013, a day before a huge 4th of July celebration, riders would experience the figure-8 layout of Snake River Falls, laughing and experiencing the huge near 8-story drop. Once this particular group of 12 riders faced the conveyor belt that would guide them to the massive drop, The boat would drop down the 82-foot drop down. The boat would then jump the track instead of turning afterwards. It continued straight, lodging the boat off of its course and ultimately off of the track. Fortunately, no one was injured, just very stunned and surprised by what they just experienced. A crew from the park immediately came to their aid and escorted them safely off the ride. The ride was immediately closed down for the day, and those riders on the boat were granted Fastlane skip-the-line passes and continued on with their day. Snake River Falls, as it marched into a new decade and became a maintenance nightmare, with this attraction facing a lot of downtime. It would sadly be announced on August 2nd, 2024, that after 30 years of operation, Snake River Falls would be closed for good, with its last rides ever being on Labor Day, September 2nd, 2024. Parkgoers would raid the stores for the Final Pledge commemorative shirts paying homage to Snake River Falls, along with the buttons too as well. Lines on the final day would be extremely long, as riders would patiently wait to take their final plunge on the former tallest Shoot-the-Chute ride in the world, going up and down the huge drop getting soaked. One thing that still remained after 31 years, that this attraction brought the cool down with the element of water and the laughter and applause endlessly. Snake River Falls, after 31 years of soaking riders, would see its final plunge and would close forever at day's end of September 2nd, 2024. A little over 2 weeks later, after Snake River Falls would take its final plunge, it would be announced that Cedar Point would be opening up a brand new coaster, which would be Vecoma's first tilt coaster in North America, called Siren's Curse. No new ride though has been announced to replace Snake River Falls yet at the time of recording this documentary. Snake River Falls intended to come to Cedar Point to shift some of its thrilling focus to appeal to more families, still with a thrilling world record-breaking flair. Snake River Falls came to Cedar Point as a world record-breaking 82-foot high Shoot-the-Chute. To say so the least, did not disappoint. It came to the park, exceeded the expectations, thrilled millions, and soaked a few generations. Competition breeds success. Yes. But in the story of Snake River Falls at Cedar Point, in the midst of the coaster wars and the competitive bout between aerodynamics and Hopkins Rides, and innovation is what progresses our world further to go from blue sky pipe dream ideas to world-class modern marvels.
All right, everyone say goodbye to Snake River Falls forever.
Snake River Falls, man, last time on the road. Snake River Falls, rock!
What memories do you have of Snake River Falls? And let me know if anyone got a chance to experience the ride in its first 2 weeks of operation before the bottom of the splashdown was altered. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for it's free and literally costs you nothing, yet it greatly supports the channel. Check out our Patreon for early access and ad-free documentaries, along with exclusive patron-only and YouTube channel membership-only vlogs. Lastly, let me know what park, ride, show, or attraction you would like to see covered in the future. Till then, take care, be well, and have a thrilling day.